the point of cricket?
Boys.
Why do you do it?
Great cricket is a prison.
We're going to look at the perils of sweeping.
We're the good cricketers, the great cricketers, real Brad.
Dips his head.
If you're going to do it to England.
Well, he's out now. He got 40.
Counting down the days until the biggest series of our lives. Is the bat-off already over? Should we stop the count? Is Marnus back? We take you over the ins and outs of another round of split screens and watch-alongs and tell you whose runs count and whose do not. Were Boland's wickets the right kind of wickets? And how slow is too slow to play for Australia? Before then, over in the West, the summer of cricket launches us into conversations about stadiums with a roof. 26 over ODIs, and is Bison the bolter for the first test? Mike Hussey is on the show to discuss ghosts, Konstas, ones that got away, 2010-11, and crying in the sheds. Ben Horne is on the show to titillate us with fantasy 11s and the correct height for each batting position. There's also Women's World Cup washouts, hundreds and upsets. Ask TGC with Snoop Dogg, the What's Getting Your Hotline, and everything in between. Pezza, it's cricket season. It's cricket season. Is it cricket season? Is it the season to play the cricket? I guess the cricket's on. People are playing cricket.
We had a skip bin at our house over the weekend, just trying to declutter, I suppose, in environmentally sustainable ways. And it became clear that we were running out of time to walk the dog. So I volunteered to take Florimo to the local cricket ground. And that coincided with a parent that I catch up with saying he too would like to go to the local cricket ground. So I took Flo there, and we each purchased a solitary VB. I watched both my sons Woolworths Blast coach make 30 in the afternoon before shoveling one to mid-off off the bowling of a 14-year-old against a light breeze and a sunny cloudless sky. Yesterday evening I took in Steve Waugh's appearance on ABC's The Assembly. So yes, cricket season is back.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, Australia beat India as well.
Posts are down, stumps are up. It's the cricket season. I suppose what better way than to get the voice of the people on the show?
Let's hear it.
Here goes. Pez, Chuck, how are we?
Good.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for asking. How good is it to have the cricket back? It's 1:30 p.m. The toss has been run and won by Australia. We elect to bowl. I look outside. It's 30 degrees. I realise I need to mow my lawns. And as I lay in bed at 11 o'clock at night, I think, oh, shit, the cricket was on. Oh, yeah? Bison hits him all right. What's he up to this summer?
That's the summer.
How's Pat's Gary Jack? Anywho, 3-0.
Yeah, guys, just settle down. It's not even summer yet. What?
Okay.
What you mean? We're playing cricket against India right now. Might have a look.
Isn't it good to see the Indian crowds turning up for an ODI in October as well? They bloody love their cricket, don't they? It's like a religion over there or something.
Nothing epitomises the great divides and the hierarchies of cricket when I go on Instagram this morning and see little cucks try and justify why the Duckworth-Lewis use last night was accurate. Meanwhile, Chads like Mark Waugh going, 5 runs doesn't seem like very much. Where's the logic in that? Fucking nerds.
What's getting me hot? The prospect of Renshaw opening the batting in the test team.
Okay.
And we could have a 6-metre cordon. Renshaw at 1, Webster at 2, Green at gully.
I tell you what's getting me hot, lads. The thought of Brad Hope coming off 8 steps to Marnus at AB Field, pitch doing plenty, and Marnus saying thank you and putting him over third man for 6.
Death, taxes, and Pete Hanscom digging the Vicks out of another hole. My word, that man is the Messiah.
I'll tell you what's getting me hot, boys. Mike Afford. Like, this bloke saying that England aren't scared or fearing Boland. Mate, this bloke was scared of, he feared every bowler. I mean, is there a highlight of him on any socials of him ever not being dismissed?
Oh, the punter strike back.
It's actually, now I think about it, I've never seen Atherton score a run. And he was a fine cricketer. But, you know. That's the way it goes. Hey, last week we spoke about Joel Davies giving a send off in a grade game, and we've been following this story closely. And it turns out he's copped a 5-match ban for the celebration, 3 games suspended, of course. Punishment received added weight for previous indiscretions. Now,
thank you.
Fox Cricket understands that Davies, a basketball fan, has asserted that he was not imitating a sex act in the send-off, but was rather paying tribute to NBA superstar Joel Embiid, who popularised a similar celebration known as the DX Crotch Chop. So, I mean, you know, once again, another misunderstanding on the cricket field.
And if I could verbatim take in Sydney Morning Herald's reportage of this is Tom Deason and Vince Regari on this. They've sent 2 out to deal with this. Similar to what you said, I just want to get the language right.
Okay.
Davies, a basketball fan, argued he was imitating NBA star Joel Embiid, who has been fined in the past for a gesture widely known as the DX Crotch Chop, famously used by D-Generation X, a former professional wrestling stable in the late 1990s featuring Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Chyna and X-Pac. The Crotch Chop was DX's signature taunt in which those wrestlers and other members of the group would point their hands towards their crotch in the shape of a V or X.
V or X, yep.
So the plot thickens when you get the frog box footage from Sydney Uni 1. You know, was this a hip thrust or was it a crotch chop popularised by D-Generation X, the former professional wrestling stable? I can just imagine. Davies is in there at Cricket New South Wales with, you know, Maley. This is fucking degeneration. Now, Kyle Sandilands got involved.
Good.
In this. And he was speaking to sports reporter Cooper Johns, and he said, that's not a sex act, that's an actual dance move.
Yeah.
And he then fired up at grandmas running the game. Says the sporting boards are full of old grandmas that don't really know or haven't checked out as to what people, fans of these things, actually enjoy. All of these grandmas that decide what we're allowed to think and do and say, they're so out of touch.
Yeah.
You know? Now, is there a part of, you know, the top brass at Cricket Australia thinking we're getting the Sandilands treatment on this?
Yeah.
In many ways, thank you to Joel Davies. You know what I'm saying?
Spreading the game.
Growing the game.
Growing the game.
This is growing the game stuff. I got more grade cricket, by the way. There's just a little watch. There's a little watch on Archie Vaughan, son of Michael. Right. So that's pedigree. Now, Archie can play the code.
England
plays
19s.
at Somerset in the county championship, England under-19s with your Rocky Flintoffs, etc. Recently a sixfer in the county champs, dismissed Washington Sundar, multiple international wickets, 3 first-class fifers. Played Sydney Test cricket for Mossman over the weekend.
Now I'm interested.
Yeah, in 2s. So,
how did he start so high is what I want to know. Were they short?
I just think in this, you know, if you intone the tenor of conversation ahead of these Ashes. There's a real sense that you know, Australia are old and injured and will be facing the expressed pace and the general relaxed alphadom of England. You know, Swiss cheese number of holes in the Australian setup. It's just nice to be reassured that some things remain the same. You know? A first-class player with 3 fifers to his name will start in 2s at Mossman.
With great respect to Mossman.
With great respect. No, I mean, this is Mossman, you know, pushing back for Australia.
That's right. Well, Mossman was a strong side.
Now, I just look. This is a source telling me there's actually a there's another emerging like county player, I believe, of who plays a lower level, I think, than Archie Vaughan. I don't need to drag him into this, but he was picked in first grade. Archie Vaughan in 2s, and I'd like to think there's a toxic complement to it. You know, it's just like. So we're aware, Archie Vaughan, that you will play for England. Therefore, you know, you you'll start in 2s and work your way up.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
We've already got an off spinner.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
What are we supposed to do?
We've already got Dickie. Now, anyway,
he's on $20 a pole.
I don't think it was an easy day either. I don't. I'm not.
Well,
I wouldn't say ripped it up, but 2s is a good standard.
Well, especially
it's Australia.
Yeah, size of the bats these days. There's a lot of pressure on Fletcher Ponting. That's all I'm saying. Let's lump pressure on a 10-year-old. Hey, if you want to come and see TGC live, tickets for the live show, they are flying out the door. Now, sold out Brisbane, sold out Adelaide and Melbourne days 1. We have put on second shows there in Adelaide and Melbourne, but if you want to come and see us live, you can still get your final tickets at Perth and Sydney, and then also your second shows for Adelaide and Melbourne. Tickets at greycricketer.com. But this is a reminder to you now, if you want to come and see us, they're flying out the door. They're going. They're going. They're gone. Also, another shout out for our book. Comes out November 4. Pre-sale has commenced. You can get it via Booktopia in Australia or Readings in the UK. Or, once again, you can go to greycricketer.com for all of your TGC needs. Get it now and beat the Christmas rush. And a shout out to our friends on Patreon. Patreon.com/greycricketer. If you want to get around TGC and get an hour extra of whatever this show is.
Record numbers, Patreon.
We are.
With 3,600 paying customers, can't be wrong. Or can they?
Yeah. Well, judging by who's in there.
Just get in and find out for yourself. Jump on the chat. Plenty going on.
Now, Wasted Saturdays returns this week. Just informing you what's happening here at TGC Towers. Wasted Saturdays is our show highlighting the highs and very much the lows of club cricket. I mean, every game is filmed now, of course, thanks to our friends at Frogbox. And we want to see your highlight, or indeed mostly your low light, that's already floating around in your group chat from the weekend. So get your clips in. You can also go and submit your video to the website. greycricketer.com is a tab there. Or if that's too hard for you, flick it over on the old socials there. Now, let's talk about the cricket, Pezza. Let's talk about the Australia and India white ball cricket that started, of course, only on Fox Cricket, included on Kayo Sports. It's ad break free during play and live in 4K. That's right. If you want to watch the cricket at the moment, you got to get it on Kayo or indeed Fox Cricket. Australia played against India.
Oh, yeah.
And Australia bowled first. And India found themselves 136 for 9 after 26 overs and heaps of rain. Australia chased that 21 overs into their innings, 3 down, Mitch Marsh 46 off 52. Is it a watch? He says no. So there's that. Is it a smoky? Is Mitch Marsh a smoky? But I mean, I suppose like the highlight is like, a new Australian kit. People have their conversations around that. You get to see the players in a time zone that suits you. Sunday afternoon. What's not to like?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main message, like there's a couple of key points out of this game. Firstly, highly memorable. Secondly, debutantes in Renshaw and Philippe, so trappings for the eyes. It's sort of a trappings-based game. Philippe with hair. It's a look.
Yeah.
And it looks good, to be honest. I'm always loving a cue ball for Australia, for obvious reasons. But Philippe's doing well, and he's batted well too. He's kept well. A couple of other notes from me. Stark bowled one at 176.5 kilometres. That's a watch. And isn't it great to see pace and bounce out and a lively deck out in the west?
That's right.
Yeah. Has Bison caught fire? Which then has to be followed up with articles like, he's gone fishing lately, and he loves to get out fishing, and he just takes his mind off the game. Almost hung him up, and all of a sudden, paradoxically, catch 22, starting to play cricket well again. We learn more and more. Not playing cricket makes you better at cricket. How do we get him into the Ashes without him playing?
I tell you who likes fishing. Coley, 5th stump.
Here we go.
Caught backward point. Nice catch. Cooper Connolly. Seen it over and over again. It's going to be sad when we can't see that anymore. No, he's obviously got a great record in Perth.
He's a wonderful player. He's been great for the game.
What a wonderful player.
Yeah,
and we should be thanking him.
It's like the political ads with a fucking overspeed person at the end with the disclaimers. Yeah, Rohit and Kohli. I guess when you get old, when it goes, it goes. Australia, no aging issues at all.
No. Well, one of our old boys has bowled 176 clicks into the wind.
That's unders.
Pushing uphill. I like the scorecard. I like the scoreboard. Listing the Indian team and having Rohit Sharma as the captain. 4 HS.
Oh. That was Rohit's PR, guys. I think you did that.
Hardest working guys in the game, those boys.
Yeah. And it was like an away game, wasn't it? And cricket's like a religion.
Yeah.
We learnt that.
I tell you what, when you try and get up and about for a bilateral ODI series when there's not a World Cup for 2 years, and it rains heaps. And first of all, when's it ever rained in Perth? And should be putting a roof on the stadium. Of course. It's a beautiful stadium.
Move it to the Wacker.
And the facilities are wonderful.
Yeah, it's a wonderful new stadium.
But
isn't
when you're trying to get going on your Sunday afternoon, easing into the couch, just settling into every nook and cranny of that couch. It's your couch. It's your Sunday. And it's raining. Flat. I'm flat.
I'm okay for the first bit when they've got like good shoulder content, to go with to begin with,
Good
and
shout.
I'm like, oh, that's a new trapping as well. You just, like a first game of the year, you're just seeing what things look like on TV.
Yeah.
The shapes that it makes.
Yeah.
The Guernseys, players, what the scorecard looks like.
Yeah.
Different typefaces and sizings.
Yeah.
And you're just adjusting to it all.
Yeah.
But it is disappointing when it's a 26 over a side game with 4 rain delays and all you can do is get into a WhatsApp thread about whether there's a watch on Duckworth Lewis Stern.
Poor old Stern.
Yeah, that's right.
Howard, that is.
I tried to.
Poor old Howard Stern.
I tried to understand why how a scenario occurs where India makes 136 and that means it's less. It's fewer.
Yeah.
And I was in an argument, not an argument, I was like talking to ChatGPT about it. It's about resources, something to do with resources. There are people explaining on the ground, and then there's Mark Waugh talking about logic. So there's actually like people online saying this is maths and this is good, and if you understand maths, then you get it, and if you don't, you're dumb and you're a fucking idiot. And then there's Junior going like, this is my view and this is logic, and I'm like, wow, maths versus logic. Now that's a conflict I didn't see coming. But only cricket can get that going.
Yeah.
Now, like
science versus the sniff test.
Is it too much to ask DLS to have a pub test? Like to pass the pub test? I guess no, because that's a mathematician's grand final, isn't it? It's actually that is the wet dream of the cricket mathematician.
Good as it gets.
To understand some numeric issues within the game that others can't. That is a fucking the completion must have been out of control.
So there I am on my Sunday, just going about my own business, as you know what I'm doing with the couch.
Of course,
nestling in nooks, crannies, etc. Yeah. I turn on and there's Kath Lachlan talking to Marnus, and I was like, well, there you go. There's an interview. It's a new kit. I'm liking what he's saying.
Great.
I'm learning about how he's going about his runs these days.
Yeah.
And then about like 45 minutes later, I realised that I've been watching so long in the rain delay that they had to change the commentators. There was a commentary change during a rain play. So I thought, you know what? That'll do me for now.
Yeah.
Then Treyas went out and it was a good catch by Philippe with the sleeve and hair. So
Treyas went out. That's Melbourne. I like it. Yeah. Now, anyway. But Bison 40 red, putting the batting in a 26 over game.
How many times does he need to tell us he's not playing before we believe him? And the amount of beers
Buff pushed him. He's like Buff's like, he's just like, he kept saying like, no, I'm going to be pissed before the game.
Yeah.
Like I've told you how many times I have to tell you? And he's like, yeah, but would you say no if they asked? And he's like, oh, no, like, don't make me say that. He's like, no, of course I wouldn't say no.
Yeah. So I mean, like we're getting into this time where we're fantasizing about how the makeup of the site can look. But I think
that's the right verb for it.
If it gets to a point, Mitch Marsh is opening the batting for Australia in the first test of the Ashes. So I think something's gone wrong. Now, don't get me wrong. In my mind, I'm like, oh, what if he hits the first ball for 4? I'm like, now we're talking. Now that
could be the greatest moment in the history of the Ashes.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but then I can see nicking off, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, we should have picked someone else. So, I'm just going to back what Mitch Marsh is saying. That he ain't playing.
My vibe is they're probably like, stay warm. If it starts to fuck up, we'll bring you in.
Yeah.
Just like we did at Headingley, and you saved lots of things.
Yep.
That's
Well, if Travis Head falls over,
There's just a lot of whisper about it being a sniff chest based series, and I like it.
Yeah.
Everyone's just getting ready to cross bat and bowl at everyone's heads.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Sweet.
I'll sit back. I'll exhale through the nose and watch that.
Anyway, so Australia's winning the summer so far.
Are we?
England 0 wins in Australia so far. Australia 1 win.
Oh, I see. Right.
India no wins. So.
Okay. Well, that's a good start.
Catch it all on Fox Cricket, including Kayo Sports. Pezza, of course, there's more white ball games coming up. Hopefully more memorable and fulfilling than the first game so far. But we have teamed up with Experienced Gold Coast.
Yes.
And we are giving away a prize. The prize pack...
When Experienced Gold Coast came to us, we were we were passionate about this with Gold Coast.
we've
Gold Coast. How can you hear that city and not get you going? Particularly when it comes. No, I'm serious. Like at some level, Gold Coast gets you going because it is. It's just it's so enigmatic as a city, and now it's host. The biggest cricketers are coming to town.
What about Gold Coast getting a India-Australia white ball game? Please.
You don't ever rule them out.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
You always keep the flame of flickering for the Gold Coast. I'm serious.
The competition to win prize pack that includes flights, accommodation, and 4 times tickets to the game. That's right, 4 times tickets to the games. So now, what you can do is here, there's a pinned post on our Instagram. You need to follow both Experience Gold Coast and TGC. In 25 words or less, you can comment why you and 3 mates should be going. I mean, please. I mean, how do you do that in 25 words or less? But you want to get in and around that. Let me tell you. It's
Mark Twain stuff, It's. I think he said it's tough to compress it down. I think that was the...
Yeah. I think that's what he was saying.
I would have written you a shorter letter, but I hadn't the time.
Get up in Gold Coast with a T20I cricket series in Australia versus India. Gold Coast, November 6th. Win flights, accommodation and tickets to the game. Head to our Instagram to find out how to enter. I just told you. Go to the Instagram, comment why you and 3 mates should be going. Or if you want to go to greatcricket.com/Gold Coast, you can see all the information there. So there you go. $1,000 Webjet flight voucher, $600 Experience Oz voucher, $1,000 accommodation.
And all you got to do is jump on and say why Gold Coast gets you going. I don't think that was the exact question, but that's the angle I'd be taking.
More or less, that's what yeah. All right, thanks to Experience Gold Coast. Pezzo, let's talk about the Shield bat-off, the bowl-off, the watch of injuries, I suppose.
Just Ash's umbrella and Australian domestic cricket.
Let's start with Marnus. Start with Marnus, yeah. So it's bulk runs. He can't stop scoring runs. It's 150.
Yeah, he's hating it.
Probably threw it away. Won in the game. I mean, sure. Look, Swepo took 10 for. Sure. But it's Marnus. It makes me feel good. And now it's where does it bat? Because, I mean, if Marnus isn't playing in that first side, in the first test, something's gone horrendously wrong now. He's in. I've got him in as a lock. He's locked in.
Yeah, I would like him to lose form again. Because we are learning that when it or as it relates to any player, let's say with Marnus, when it has a problem, it comes back stronger. Like first time it was dropped from the test side, turns into Steve Smith. Second time it's dropped, crucial piece in the I'm Sean Connery. Piece in the Australian 2023 World Cup win. Third time it's dropped, 4 centuries in 5 matches. I mean, just keep rejecting him. That's his kink.
I know it's like it's just a cog in the side, but it's actually if he continues on in any sort of vein of form as this, I mean, it's actually entirely pivotal to the success of the side.
Oh, I mean, I need medication.
If he's batting 3 and then Smith is 4 and then Head's 5 and then Webster 6 or whatever the order is, I don't know, but it's it feels like Australia's got a world-class player back as long as he's playing like this. And it feels like that's actually really significant. Other than just like, I mean, it's kind of boring because like we wanted the new toy a little bit, but maybe this is a new toy. Old Marnus, new toy. Is that what it is?
And he couldn't hit one off the square like 6 months ago. And now you'd get decent odds on him being the best batter in the world. I'm all over the place. It's slaloming Smith stuff all over again. I think he wants to bat 3. I think there's a few questions there, but
yeah. I mean, right now it feels like Weatherald probably not doing enough to get in, despite an enormous season last year. He also made 94 off 99 in the third innings of this game here, Tassie against Western Australia. All these games, by the way, low scoring, except for Marnus's 150. Pretty much the anyone score 100.
Yeah,
Lockie Hearn scored 100 as well.
All Weatherald did was score a near 100 to win the game, but that's not gonna.
But it wasn't 16. It was 6 runs less than what is the 100 number.
Why did they win?
Tassie,
they did. By 3 runs. Wonderful finish. So that's all he did.
Yeah,
it's just.
How tall is he?
Is it too crouchy? Is it eye test?
Yeah. But he does the thing, the exact spot where there's a gap.
Yeah, he's fulfilling the job criteria available, you might say. But is that the criteria? There's a you know, like there's a visible criteria, then there's an invisible criteria in Australian cricket. And that invisible criteria is responsible for Australia's success, by the way. It's guarded by keepers of the flame and custodians that it's shadowy. We don't know who keeps it, but the spirit still permeates the nation. It's like, I realise there's data to back up somebody's credibility, right? But then there's also my feelings. Yeah. There's just what it... There's shapes that they either conform or they don't. Yeah. And, you know, those poor players.
Puts Archie Vaughan in twos. Same thing. I don't know if that's the exact same thing.
I think that's just
now on
discrimination.
On the other side, though, Pezza, Konstas made 50 at the junction. Difficult wicket. Scott Boland takes fifer, and he did a reverse lap over, third slip's head for 6. So...
It's hard. The problem Konstas has got, and there are several, aside from being 20 years old with a wonderful career and 3 formats ahead of him.
He's got problems.
He can't find the right way to get out.
Yeah.
So when he got out in the West Indies, he was essentially... he was technically exposed on difficult wickets. Sure. It was the ball coming in, 9-11ing his pads. Right. It was all at sea at a technical level. But then the other way he's getting out is like, playing shots that are too low percentage, to balls that may not be that threatening. Now, Todd Murphy gets him out. Actually, there's a bit of spin and bounce on the ball. It's poor shot selection. Each way he's getting out is frustrating people. And I'm just trying to figure out the right way for him to get out. Like, is he only allowed to be dismissed by absolute peaches of deliveries where you go, well, there's nothing you can do about that, or will we find a hole in that? I think that's his next challenge as a player.
So the shot that he gets out, so he goes back to Todd Murphy bowling his off spin, obviously, and he chops on. Now, at the same time, that would have been a good shot if it went for 4.
Yeah, interesting point.
That's,
Yeah. He's got to find the right time to play that shot.
Yeah, swings and roundabouts here.
Yeah.
So
when he scooped Boland over second slip, that was the right time for 6. Yeah. It was clear that was the
pressure back on the ball.
That's absorbing and then knowing when to push back, and that was that.
Now, at the same time, that's a very difficult wicket at the junction. Now, Marcus Harris playing in this game, who didn't score bulk runs this game, but if he had scored runs there on a tough wicket, despite that, it wouldn't have counted because that's junction overruns, which would go against him. He needs to do it away.
I think he did the right thing by not scoring runs there and amplifying the stereotype.
Yep.
He wants to stop his association with junction oval runs and score them elsewhere because again, that's the unseen. That's the unseen test of Australian batting.
Yeah. So Scott Boland takes 8 from the game, takes 5 for in the 4th innings here.
Let's talk Boland.
Look, I've got to tell you, it wasn't, I think he's allowed to not bowl at 100% amazingness at all times. He's taken 8 for the game. I think he took in his second spot.
Did you see the final spell? Did you watch it?
Yeah. It was.
He said.
I think I can play.
He said I might go for a gallop now.
Yeah.
And he just put the clappers on, particularly that ball to Ollie Davies. Sends him off too, which you don't see from Bolo. So it's just beware the quiet man was the headline in the Guardian article.
Another tribute to 90s wrestling.
Boland, he's a man of few words, He lets his actions do the talking, and we like that in Australia. But he just said, I'm yet to hit my straps. 5 for to win the game for the Vicks, as New South Wales was starting to look good, and then he comes off the field and goes, I haven't hit my straps yet. Say no more, Scotty. Say no more.
Yeah,
let them talk.
Talking.
Yeah, talk less.
At the other end, Fergus Oneil's doing good things. He took 5 from the first innings, but and we love what it's about. It's a vibe, it's energy, But I've got that in the same category of when I'm looking at it, and it's non-stop polls. Chris Rogers obviously said that he's a winner, the greatest compliment you can give anyone. He's a winner. But I just feel like if you'd watch that in a test match, you'd be like, you need airspeed, But I like what it's about. So can I have it all? Can I have it now?
Yeah, has anybody said to him, can you just roll the arm over faster? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and lose your superpower, accuracy, guile, skill.
Like, I've taken 5 for 26 off 16 overs to break the game open for my state. And I continue to do this, but man, again, like I think there's a lot of fantasy over players that might get a gig if things start to go wrong for Australia, and I think this is where Fergus Oneil comes into the equation. Like does he get like it's a break glass situation, throw them something different, Fergus Oneil at the MCG on Boxing Day situation. Which we're obliged to speak in this way because most people have decided that Australia are cooked, that England do win the first couple of tests, and that we've already got the second side sorted out. Marsh is coming in and Fergus is coming in. Yeah, we're injured, so Pat might not play.
It is amazing how bad this Australian side is. But you look at the record and they win almost every game.
No,
they are awful.
Have a look at it.
Awful.
Just look at it, but look closely.
Yeah. You're not looking at it the right way. Now, the Shield round overall, it was a great round of Shield cricket.
Oh, wasn't it?
Tassie beat WA by 3 runs. Swepson takes 10 for a Queensland win. Marnus bulk runs, obviously. Victoria win a tight one against New South Wales as well. So, as an Australian cricket fan, you got Marnus runs, you got Boland 8 for. Jackson Bird doing the business for Tassie. You got Weatherall back up 94 runs. I mean, it's everything we've ever wanted, I think.
Everything we've ever wanted.
Smith's back from the US.
Yeah, that's good, and that's good. He's checking into Cricket New South Wales as well. So looking for updates on that.
That's great. People might have seen some awful news from Tom Decent from the Sydney Morning Herald wrote about Nick Maddinson, who's going through cancer at the moment. Actually, he's in recovery now and hoping to play some cricket. But it was a wonderful piece. But obviously, we're sending our very best wishes to Nick and his family. Maddo's been on the show at least once. It might have been a couple of times. Couldn't wish to meet a nicer guy. And reading Tom's article over the weekend, it was absolutely shocking how... basically no one knew. Obviously, our friend Zamps knew, and he gave some quotes for the article as well. But just sending absolute best wishes to Nick and his family as he goes through recovery from cancer.
Yep, and his chemo worked, which is fantastic. He's on the road back. He's re-engaging with cricket. It was a brilliantly written piece from Tom as well. I'd get ready on the old emotions front. Reading it, but and I think Nick's done a wonderful job in as you often see about raising awareness that to see doctors and get things checked. It was one of his main points in the piece, which was that he saw a doctor and imagined that if he hadn't. So sensational news that he's done that the chemo has worked, and onwards and upwards for Maddinson, and his family.
We're also sending best wishes to Ben Cameron's family, obviously former South Australian cricketer who passed away. Awful news, and you just think about the friends and the family and the former teammates. It's awful stuff.
Yep. Varley played for South Australia. It's a wonderful achievement. Still involved in the game. Was still involved in the game as well. And echoing your sentiments there.
Let's talk about England, Pezza, who are over across the ditch in NZ. They played one game in Christchurch the other day. T20 washed out. England were batting and they made 153 for 6 after their 20 overs. They were 114 for 6 before Sam Curran made a 49 red off 35. Then the rain came down and stopped the game. But Sam Curran, the forgotten man in many ways in England's cricketing setup, he's been in the cold, as it were, for quite a while. So nice to see him score some runs, I suppose. And they've got a whole bunch of white ball games over there. I think the next one is actually tonight. Over there in NZ. Pez, you've seen David Saker as the new bowling coach ahead of the Ashes. I think he previously did it in 2010-11, obviously the most recent successful away Ashes win for any side. But Sakes, what's going on, brother? I thought you were one of us. Yeah.
Well, there's a good scene in the test by on Prime Video where he's chastising the Australian team by saying we can't not be aggressive against India. No, he skillful. He was such a skillful bowler, and I think he's had a lot of gigs as a bowling coach. Obviously, knows his way around the traps and how to get the ball to talk. So, good luck to Sakes, our countryman.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
But you see the story last week about TNT have got the rights in the UK for the Ashes, and they're using cycling and rugby presenters for the coverage. They got Alistair Cook, Steve Finn, Graham Swan's doing their stuff on the ground in Australia, but then they're using like broader sports presenters for the coverage back home being the UK, of course. So I mean, people upset by that stuff. I mean, isn't it just like it's just on and you just watch it and then you just get the commentary and then I think, but you want fucking, if it's going to be a great series, you want like boots on the ground.
What do you want?
No, I don't know.
What's your like proclivity for commentators? If and this is total top of head, but if you break it up into like styles of commentary, you straight up like xenophobic tribalism.
Yeah, okay. You've got me.
Then at the other end of the spectrum, like highly knowledgeable, erudite, balanced neutrality. Then you've got like a mix between the two, and you sense they've had 4 to 6 glasses of red the night before.
Yeah.
Perhaps has tipped over into the second, third bottle.
Yep. So I really like, I think the best in the business. Like when I watch cricket in the UK, for instance, like the Sky team is great. You got NASA, you got Athers. Like when Warney went over there, when Ponting's there, they can stretch their legs and it's knowledgeable. There's a bit of fun from time to time, sure. Now that's all well and good until I need a wicket, and then when I get that wicket, then I want jingoism.
Yeah,
just for like, right. Just for the guttural.
I'm asking.
And then I want to step back and be like, oh, that's the worst part of myself.
So you're smorgasbord. You're at the buffet. You like knowledge.
Yeah.
With a sprinkle of jingoism.
I like a charcuterie. I like a bit of everything.
That's right. Oh, this is nice. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, I'm so intellectually stimulated by this.
What's that? Ugh.
Yeah. Now just roar at me. And reflect my feelings, my demonic feelings that sit deeper.
And then I look back on that moment and I think that's ugly, that's nasty.
That's
I don't like
especially
that.
when you read it in print. You're like, oh, that's disgusting. Especially what they do in other countries around that. Not here though. Not here.
They call it as they see it here.
See it tires. Now, I just like it could just spin us back a little to some of George Bailey's comments through the week, if that's okay, or a couple of days ago.
Well, speaking of jingoism,
look. Take this with a pinch of salt, given the disgrace that this man is. You mentioned Smith's back. Bailey says Smith will captain if Cummins can't play. Now, I just want to preface this by saying a lot of Bailey's comments this week were they're just they're very reassuring, and they had a big air of cool thy jets in it. And I liked it. When Bailey speaks with an Australian tracksuit and he's still got the chiseled, sinewy face.
Yeah, of an athlete.
It looks like if you didn't know cricket, you'd still walk past it and go, it played something. Yeah. I don't know what he played.
He runs an F45.
Yeah, well, now you'd have been like, oh, that's pro sport.
Yeah, right.
It's just got a pro sport face.
Yeah.
And he speaks with a he speaks with it like. He inherently knows the absurdity of all of the questions that are received.
Yes.
Because ultimately it's a cricket team where there's about 12 of them like in contention for 11 spots. That's it, and they don't know how they're going to flick it around, and that's probably based on form and fitness. But we've got space to fill.
Newspapers to sell.
And he's just, he sort of smiles through it a little bit. Mm-hmm. And, he's going to captain if Cummins is there. Smith will captain. And he goes, business as usual. I'm like, oh, he's giving it the BAU treatment. Bailey on Cummins. He says, we know time's getting short and there's permutations around that, not just around the back, but other factors as well. So, it's positive. Really confident that he's going to play a major part. Hopefully it's the first test. If not, then we'll pick it up. 2 greatest words in sport, major part. Mm-hmm. Cummins playing a major part. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's from the horse's mouth. Mm-hmm. The horse being Bailey. What else has he said? On Cam Green.
Okay.
So Cam Green hasn't bowled in a year and then has a side strain pretty soon after. But
unrelated.
And many people want him to be the guy who shoulders the load of the quicks that might get injured, the one that's been injured. About 3-2. He goes, it's a very conservative decision just to rest him from the ODIs around getting that right, playing Shield 3 or 4, and bringing the bowling online.
Okay.
So I'm always interested in the nomenclature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is this how we're talking now? Bringing the bowling online.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd just be leaving online out of the entire conversation personally.
So,
but that's how we're talking.
Yeah, yeah. I like his comments about Slug, where he told everyone to relax. Because it was about Webster, like, is he going to be there? Because Slug's got the ankle, right? Hasn't played the 2 Shield games so far. Obviously, people trying to fit their 11s, their 12s into an 11. Does Webster miss out, etc.? We've had these conversations here on this very show, offline.
Yes.
But he was like, he'll be there. Everyone can relax. He'll be there in Perth. Didn't say in the team. In the squad.
Yeah, okay.
The squad.
He'll
be there.
In and around.
He's got tickets.
On Green's injury, he says, I don't, like they said, was it a setback? Would you call it a setback? He goes, I don't want to use the word setback, but it wasn't the plan. Well,
Just doing the dance, yeah.
It wasn't the plan.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if it was the plan for him to get a side strain.
Yeah.
It's hard for these guys.
It's not easy.
He said the plan would have been that he was going to play.
Yeah, okay. I can see that.
That he would have played a couple of ODIs.
Same with Cummins. I wouldn't call it a setback. It just wasn't part of the plan. It's like getting hotspot.
Let me correct that it wasn't a setback. It wasn't part of the... okay, that's the language.
We didn't want this to happen.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that. I'd say this. Well, yeah. I'd say this thing that now you can't do anything with.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Marnus on opening. He absolutely could. I've got no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I think he's got a skill set that can. But whether he does or whether he needs to, that's a different question.
Perfect. Clear as mud. I like
like, you know what would be funny is if, like, for both teams, I mean, I think England does this anyway, but, like, Bailey did do an interview and said, no, this is the 11. That's it. So you actually deliver the pigs what they want, and then everyone starts going, you can't be picking the 11 now. There's all these questions. like we are unable to be satisfied.
No,
it's like we exist in a state of being dissatisfied with whatever's going on and exercising our feelings accordingly, and everyone else who's actually playing just has to sit there and wear it.
You cannot be satiated.
Yeah,
I mean, I like it how he said that Marnus could open, given that he literally has.
I've got no doubt he can. It's like, just like put the pads on and walk out.
I saw it 4 games ago at Lords. He did it.
Take centre.
I like it how England, like, they announced their team the night before because they're fucking alpha.
Yeah, they already know what they're doing. They've got the plan.
Yeah.
Fuck, they're a good team. I'm just reflecting what I'm hearing. I'm just what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
It's the way they go about it.
Tell you, shit, Australia. Yeah. Should we get Mike Hussey on the line there?
Absolutely.
Here he is.
Yes. That is the conch. That is the conch to welcome in one of the biggest white whales in the annals of the grade cricketer. It's been a little while since we've snared a white whale. Can I hear that conch again, actually? Thank you. With 79, here's some numbers. It's been a while. 79 tests, 6,000 plus runs, 19 tons at 51.52 to go with 5,500 ODI runs at 48, 22,000 first class runs at 52, high score of 331 red. Hello, it's Shield, it's baggy green, it's IPL, it's everything. Various obstacles have impeded us from linking with this man to this point, but the boys never stop in their pursuit of the greats. He goes, few people link the golden era with the current era like this man. It's one of West Australia and Australia's finest. Welcome to the great cricketer, Mike, sometimes Maurice Hussey. Huss.
Thanks, boys. Thanks for the great introduction. Pleasure for me to be on the show. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a bit nervous, I've got to say, but I'm looking forward to it.
Good. Huss, it's a special moment for us, and for that reason I'd like to start old school. As one of Australia's most gluttonous compilers of runs, what is your relationship to grade cricket? What sort of pain were you inflicting on hapless clubbies as you were coming through the Perth ranks?
I love my time in grade cricket. Played for the Wanneroo District Cricket Club north of Perth. When I first started out there, the ground was just surrounded with market gardens, so no one wanted to come there. The flies were horrendous. It stunk of manure. The pitch was tough to bat on, but we loved it. You know, the Mighty Roos, we'd fight out some good sort of hard wins and sing our song loud and proud. And have a few beers in the sheds afterwards. So it was a good time of my life. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and always cherished my time playing grade cricket.
And I feel like back in the days when, firstly, players played club cricket, and secondly, like I'm thinking about Perth grade cricket in your era, Huss. There's got to be some names knocking about and some older players bullying you.
Plenty actually. I remember bowling my filthy leg spinners against Jeff Marsh, and he was sort of out of the Australian team at that stage, still playing Shield cricket. And I was just bowling these beautiful loopy leg spinners up into the breeze, hoping they'd drop, and literally they kept going into the trees over my head. I don't know. I think he was hitting me for 4 or 5 sixes and over, and so that wasn't too good for the ego. And we all know what Jeff Marsh was like. He was a Billy blocker. You know, he'd be happy to bat all day, and block the living daylights out of him. So to get hit by Jeff Marsh for about 12 sixes straight back over my head into the trees at Kingsway Reserve was not fun. Certainly a fair bit of sledging along the way as well. But there was one guy I had on my team was Damien Martin, and coming out to watch him bat was pretty impressive. He used to bully opposition bowlers better than anyone I've ever seen. Quite often he'd turn up quite late. Quite often he'd turn up smelling maybe not the best from the night before. But GC come out and start charging the opening bowlers and smashing them to all parts of the ground pretty early. And so it was pretty good to be at the other end of that and watching Marto in action.
Huss, I want to dive, into the Ashes. We're on the precipice of the first Test match, of course, in a month or so's time. Your Ashes story started in 2005. Now, there was a white ball series before the 05 Ashes that you were a part of, and I want to talk about the famous haunting in Durham. Now, this is via the ABC at the time. Australia world champion cricketers have been spooked by the legend of 700-year-old ghosts at their ancient Durham hotel, with all-rounder Shane Watson so rattled he slept on the floor of Brett Lee's room. Now, what the fuck was going on?
Well, I didn't have any problem sleeping at all. I was tucked up in bed, slept like a baby the whole time. I do remember staying at the castle. I think it was Lumley Castle, just behind the ground there at Chesterley Street in Durham. Great hotel. I absolutely loved it. I still remember Gilly telling the story. He went into his bedroom, so checked into the hotel, into the room, and he couldn't find the bathroom. So he's looking around everywhere. He had to call concierge to come to his room and show him that there was the third book on the bookshelf that you had to pull down to be able to open up the secret door to get into his bathroom, into his in his hotel room. So that was pretty cool. I mean, we explored that whole hotel. There was like secret passageways going here, there, and everywhere. It was amazing. We were playing pranks on different people, scratching at their door, hiding in cupboards and sort of scratching at doors and things to try and scare them. And I didn't realise Watto and Brett Lee would be so scared. You know, these two big sort of alpha males, petrified. And it was actually quite funny when we played the game the next day. The England team caught a bit of wind of it. And when Watto was out there batting, I think he was at the non-strikers end, Darren Goss kept coming up to him and going, pretending he was a ghost and sort of trying to scare him at the non-strikers end. So it's a memorable trip, that's for sure.
Was that the same? That was the same series, wasn't it, Huss, where Kerry Packer was sending dispatches to the Australian team to bring Hussey in to the side? Like, how good does it feel to know that Kerry Packer was watching going, get Hussey in?
Yeah, I must admit, I did hear that sort of towards the back end of the Ashes series, and obviously we all know it was probably one of the most famous Ashes series of all time, and it was really building up towards that fifth test, and there was a bit of pressure on Matty Hayden. Does he keep his place? Does he not? And Packer was saying, yeah, bring me in and all that. And I'm in the background. I'm thinking, don't you dare bring me in. I don't want to be the reason Australia lose the Ashes here. If that was my first test match, to come in the fifth test match of the Ashes and we lose and, England win the Ashes, and it's, that was my first experience of Ashes cricket. It might have scarred me for life. So I was praying like heck they didn't drop Matthew Hayden for that last test. I did not want to come in for that last one under all that pressure.
You achieved just about everything there was to achieve in the game, Huss, but in recent times, according to some, you played in the worst Australian side of all time, that being the 2010-11 series against what is undoubtedly the greatest England side of all time, apart from this one, where none of the 10-11 players would make it into that into this side. So, I mean, how bad were Australia and how good are England now?
Oh, that's a tough question, isn't it? Like, far out. Is that a bit of a dig? And So what was the question again? How bad are England now?
Well, no, I'd ask, I mean, how good was that 10-11 England side?
Yeah, they were good. They were very good. I mean, we were in a little bit of transition. Obviously, we'd sort of lost a few players and we're trying to develop some new guys coming through. A couple of our key players didn't have great series. Obviously, Ponting and Michael Clark didn't score a hell of a lot of runs, which normally they would. So that's going to hurt us a fair bit along the way as well. And England were just sort of in that sweet spot. They kept like a core group of really good players together for about 4 or 5 years. They were sort of seasoned, hardened players at that stage. And I think the other thing about that series, they actually prepared really well. They came and played about 4 or 5 Sheffield Shield games and games against Australia A to really get them used to the Australian conditions. So they were absolutely primed for that series. And, unfortunately, got the better of us.
Huss, you've actually been in the inner sanctum of this English side. I know not everybody, but you coached. You were a batting coach for them in 2022, I believe, at the T20 World Cup. So, I just want to ask, like, do they have any weaknesses? And if so, as someone who's been in that inner sanctum, are you permitted to raise them publicly, even if it's constructively, gently, or fairly?
Geez, I feel like I'm under in a court of law here, you know, sort of under the pressure of a lawyer, you know, sort of hammering me with questions, and I've got to make sure I answer this with a very straight bat. I mean, of course they've got weaknesses. I mean, everyone has weaknesses, and I mean, there's nowhere to hide now as an international player. The analysis on every player all around the world is unbelievable. How deep they dive and exactly where to bowl, but you still got to be able to execute that. So yeah, of course. I mean, they're just like anyone else. They've got the same fears and doubts and clouded minds as every other player around the world. So I mean, I think it's going to be an unbelievable series. I think where England have got a chance is that they're going to get so much belief from their leaders. McCullum, he won't take a backward step. Ben Stokes, they're both, very competitive people. They're both very positive people. They're both gamblers in a lot of ways as well. So they're going to really take it on. But we know the Aussies aren't going to take a backward step, especially in Australian conditions. So I think it's going to be an awesome series. I don't know. I think Australia should start favourite, but I think it could be very, very close.
Huss, I feel like a lot of people forget the main story of Jason Gillespie's 200 in Bangladesh, and that being your 182 and running out the captain. Now, I remember at the time Matthew Hayden saying that if Dizzy got to 200, he was going to run around the ground naked. Fast forward 20 years, and he has made the same promise if Joe Root doesn't score 100. Why does Doss want to run around grounds naked?
I have no idea, and I tell you what, seeing him yesterday, I don't really want to see him running around the field naked either. You know, he's a huge unit, and I mean, Haydos loves these big calls, and it would be nice if he followed through with them, but it's not a sight I don't think the Australian public need to see. So let's just maybe let that one slide, but yeah. There's some great memories there. Dizzy Gillespie scoring a double 100. I batted with him for a lot of that time, and the funniest bit about it was he kept ticking off all the great players. Like he'd pass Mark Waugh's high score and say, I've got Junior covered now, past him, and then he'd tick off Damien Martin. I've just passed Marto. I've just passed someone else, and he just kept ticking off all these great players. But he really wanted to get Steve Waugh, and I think Steve Waugh's high score must have been like 201. And literally, as soon as Dizzy got to the 200, bang, declared, there's no way he's passing Steve Waugh. So I think Dizzy was spewing that he couldn't get past Tugger.
Just on the naked thing, of your teammates, you said you don't want to see Haydos run around the ground naked. Like, is there anyone you'd like to see run around the ground naked? It's okay if the answer's no.
No way.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I want to ask about your international career, Huss. It started relatively late. It was 30, I believe. And I've always wanted to know in the most respectful way possible, despite your incredible numbers, do you ever wonder what you might have achieved if you commenced as a kind of a prodigy at age, 22 to 25? Do you ever wonder if... the 79 test could have been 130, and the captaincy might have begged, or you might have hit the stratospheric heights that the game can offer? Because I wonder about these things.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've thought about it a lot, and probably think, I'd be probably about 5,000 runs past Sachin Tendulkar, the leading run scorer in the game, and the most centuries, the most wins, the most Ashes wins, most World Cup wins, probably all those things put into one. And then, unfortunately, I wake up in the morning and it's just a dream. So, I would have loved an opportunity earlier, but I guess the good thing for me was at least when I finally got picked, I had a great understanding of my game. I knew what I needed to do to score runs. So I'm sure if I got picked as a youngster or a younger player, I would have had a lot more ups and downs. And to be honest with you, like a lot of us, we're mental nutcases. And if I had have played earlier and, not played well as I was trying to figure it all out, I might have been in a psychiatric ward for 2 or 3 years of my life. So I'm probably, in a lot of ways, I would have loved an opportunity earlier, but in a lot of ways, I'm quite grateful that I had to really just work away in the background, learn about myself, learn about my game. And then when I was picked, I knew I was ready and ready to perform well, ready to be consistent and able to keep my place in the team for a fair few years after that.
It's a really interesting comment and experience, mate, particularly in relation to the current team. I notice recently you again in very sensitive, in a very sensitive way and thoughtful way, noted you felt Sam Konstas, for example, could use 2 years at least, in the Sheffield Shield to finesse his game. And I wonder if that's based, at least in part on your own experience, where you had to have, your game was completely ready to go. You probably waited too long, you know what I mean? But is that the sense that you get with Sam, that he would really benefit from some time finessing those rougher parts of his game before he comes into the side?
Without doubt, 100%. We forget that he's only, a 19, 20-year-old kid. He's only played a handful of first-class games. He's obviously got enormous talent, and he's got a big future, hopefully, ahead of him. But he's still got to learn a lot about himself as a person. He's got to learn a lot about his game. Even we're sort of seeing in his very short career, he's changing the way he plays quite a lot. We're seeing all the scoops and the ramps and things like that. But then we'll sort of see him, okay, now today I want to knuckle down. I just want to sort of play a normal sort of inning. So he's got to figure out what works well for him. Even when I came in at 30, the thing that no one can prepare you for is when you hit that international stage, the attention on you just grows exponentially. So even though I had my game in good working order, I knew exactly what I needed to do to play well. I understood my game, but I was still not prepared for dealing with the extra media attention, the commentators talking about you all the time, them picking apart your technique, the time that sponsors want to that need your time for, charities, media, all that sort of stuff that just gets heaped on you as well. Think of this poor young kid. He's 20 years of age. He's still a baby when it comes to learning about his own game. He's got no idea what his best game looks like just yet. And he's got to try and deal with all this external sort of attention as well. It's almost impossible for him to come out and be consistent, on the field. So, there's no doubt in my mind that if we fast forward another 4 or 5 years, his game will be in a much better place to help him perform consistently on the highest stage. But also, hopefully, he's a bit more rounded as a person to be able to deal with all those external distractions as well.
Let's take you back to the Ashes, Huss, and obviously winning away from home is so difficult, extraordinarily difficult. Only 2 sides have done that in this century so far. But you played in one away Ashes, 2009. No one's obviously won it there from Australia since 2001. There's been some chances to do it since then, I suppose. But in that series, it was 1-1 going into the final Test match. You just won the 4th Test by an innings. Is that one that you think has got away from Australia there? Was that an opportunity?
Yeah, it was a big opportunity. It was really disappointing. It was a tough series all round. It really ebbed and flowed. I think, obviously it was disappointing to lose at the Oval. The toss was pretty important there. And, unfortunately we lost the toss and we're always sort of on the back foot after that. But the one that really stung us was the first Test match. We should have won down in Cardiff, where I think Jimmy Anderson and Monty Panesar batted for, I think, more than an hour, 9 down, and they saved that Test match for England. And that was a real hammer blow there. We could have been 1-0 up in that series right from the word go, won another one sort of at Headingley, and then we're pretty much the series is done. So, Yeah, that was really, really disappointing. But yeah, the day at the Oval was probably the worst feeling I've ever had on a cricket field. I mean, you've spoken about a lot of great moments and a lot of great memories that I've had, but I was the last man out in that Test match at the Oval, and yeah, so I was the one that sort of cost us the Ashes in the end, and that was a horrible feeling. You know, sitting in that dressing room, I was basically on my own, just with Ben Hilfenhaus in the rooms. Everyone else was out on the ground, and I don't know. I just had my head down. I had tears pouring out of my eyes. It was a horrible feeling to have. So yeah, it was a really disappointing finish to the tour.
And you just made 120.
Yeah, well, it was funny because I got a duck in the first innings, and for some reason we had the commentary on in the dressing room, and we don't normally have that on. And I remember listening to Ian Chappell before my second innings. And he was saying, well, this is going to be Mike Hussey's last innings. You know, he's done. He's too old. We've got to try some new players. You know, his career's finished. This will be his last Test innings. And I remember listening to it thinking, oh, gosh, if this is going to be my last Test innings, I don't want it to be one filled with, like, stress and pressure and anxiety and, you know, horrible sort of memories. So I'm just going to go out there and just relax and enjoy it. And then what will be will be. If I get out for nothing, well, so be it. But I don't want my last feelings on a Test match arena to be ones of you know, horrible feelings. So it's amazing when you just take that pressure off yourself. Then you know, you relax, go out there, and you know, you can play your best cricket. Had a bit of luck and managed to get 100 and save my career. I think I was able to play for another 3 or 4 years after that.
Yeah.
We hear so many stories of players who find that place of peace and relaxation towards the end of their career, and they benefit because of it. If I could link that to the way England play their cricket at the moment, which seems almost like fundamentally based on that idea. Like it's like baseball is a feeling, you know, like that they're trying to build. Do you look at the way this current England team plays and wonder if you might have liked to play in that kind of environment, like if you would have benefited from it, or is it separate to that piece that you found towards the end?
I think what I would have enjoyed about the England environment at the moment, I mean, I would have struggled trying to play all those shots that they play, ramps and scoops and all that. But what I would have enjoyed was that they get enormous backing. So Zach Crawley's a good example where he was doing okay. He'd make a score, but he'd miss out 4 or 5 times, and they just kept backing him. Said, "Nah, you're our guy." Kept trusting him, kept backing him, and knowing you've got the backing of the coach and the captain gives you a lot of confidence. I mean, the great Australian teams that I got to play in, that I was very lucky to play in, was similar in that you were able to go out and play your way, and you felt like you had great backing from the selectors and from the captain and the coach. And so that gives you so much confidence. The only thing I might have struggled in this English team is if there was pressure put on me to have to score it like 6 and over or something like that. Then I would have struggled under that pressure, thinking I'm not feeling like I can get on top of this bowler, but I've got to try and take a chance. You know, the expectation from the coach, and if I didn't take the chance, then the coach is going to be sort of on my back, and I wouldn't have enjoyed that sort of part of it. If that is indeed what is going on, I mean, I don't know if that's what's going on or not, but if I would have felt that external pressure, if the expectation is to score at a very fast pace. But in the Australian team that I was part of, it was just, you've got to go out there and just play your way. At your best, your game, that's good for Australia and that's good for the team.
Can I ask you, Hussey, like you try and articulate something like Andrew Flintoff, for instance, was just a colossus in England. Like you look at his overall Test record, and it's like it's good, but it's not as amazing as what a great player he was, especially in Ashes series, right? I mean, some of the spells he was bowling in that sort of 8-year period maybe for England were just incredible. But when he came to Australia, it just wasn't the same threat. And obviously, there's conditions and it's a different ball. But like, what was your experience like facing Flintoff, for instance, in England compared to in Australia?
Yes, good question. I mean, I think I got Flintoff in the 2006-7 series when he was captain of England. They'd come off the 2005 win. They were full of confidence. But he had been battling a knee injury for a while. And so I don't think he was at full fitness, not even close to full fitness when he was trying to charge in. But he's such an inspirational character, and when the game's on the line, it's a bit like Ben Stokes as well. You look at their stats and you think, they're okay. But it's the impact that they can have on games. And And the way they, when the chips are down or it's a tough period of play, they grab the ball and they grab the game by the scruff of the neck. And that's what's quite inspirational about those sort of players. And Freddie Flintoff was exactly like that. But it's a good point that you make. I mean, I found more so with Jimmy Anderson. To face him in England was an absolute nightmare. The skill he had, the control he had, the way he could just move that ball both ways, not lightning pace, but decent pace. On those pitches was just almost impossible to face. But you get him in Australia where the ball didn't do as much, the pitches were truer, bit of extra pace and bounce. He was actually a lot easier to face, in my experience. So there's definitely, the conditions definitely come into it quite a lot. Flintoff, in that 2005 Ashes series, he looked like he would have been an absolute nightmare to face. He was bowling close, 150 odd. He could swing the ball both ways. He was brutal with the reverse swing, the old ball as well. He loved the crowd as well. Like the crowd was sort of really firing him up. He could sense the occasion. He wanted to be the centre of attention as well. And it was just that perfect storm for someone like Freddie Flintoff there.
Huss, we're a month out from the Ashes. There are several injury and fitness questions in the Australian team. There's 1 or 2 Sheffield Shield games. There's several international white ball games. Who is your absolute locked-in Australian 11 for the first test?
Well, yeah, I must admit I'm nervous about injuries as well. I mean, Pat Cummins is going to miss the first couple. First one at least, but it might be more. Losing your captain and your best fast bowler is not a great start. Obviously, we've still got a good attack around that with Hazelwood, Stark, Scotty Boland and Nathan Lyon. So they're your 4 bowlers. But I'll tell you what, if one of those got injured, then we're starting to go down to the next echelon of bowlers. Your Sean Abbotts, your Brendan Doggetts, your Michael Neser, your Xavier Bartlett sort of type, which, they're very good first-class bowlers, don't get me wrong, but they're not as good. They're just not as good as a Pat Cummins or a Josh Hazelwood. So, I'm nervous about more injuries if we get any more, But as it stands, that would be my 4 bowlers, which is pretty straightforward. You've got Alex Carey will keep. I'm going to open with Usman Khawaja. I've got Marnus Labuschagne at 3. Steve Smith at 4, Travis Head at 5. I've got Cameron Green at 6. So I'm just looking for an opener at this stage, and that's the only one I'm not sure on. I'm really tossing up at this stage, probably between Jake Weatherald and Matt Renshaw. They're probably the 2 that are sort of standing out to me at the moment. As I said before, I think Sam Konstas, I like him as a player, but I think he just needs some time in first-class cricket for a couple of years to really just hone his game a little bit more.
And no Slug. You're dropping Slug.
I mean, it's a tough call, isn't it? I'll make him the 12th man. I think he's done well, since he's played. He hasn't done too much wrong. But I'm tossing up between him and Cameron Green for that number 6 spot. And I just think Cameron Green's probably a better package at the moment. So his bowling's going to be really important. Especially with no Pat Cummins, they're going to need some really high-end, high-quality sort of overs from Cameron Green. So, it's a tough team, to get into, the Australian team, and that's the way it should be. And for Bo Webster, unfortunately, just misses out.
You've this last one from me, Huss. I sort of detect in the tenor of the conversation around the traps about the Ashes. England are being talked up a lot, and a lot of holes are being picked in the Australian team. England are quick. They bowl fast, they're tall, they score quickly, they're positive, they relax very hard, they play golf, and Australia are old and injured, and we don't have a top 3. Do you think that's a fair reflection on how we should be promoting or pumping up the series, or as you said earlier, Australia's still going favourites despite this?
Yeah, I mean, we've got to build England up somehow, don't we? We've got to try and make it interesting. Create a bit of hope and a bit of hype before the series. No, I mean, England, they've been planning for this series for a long time, and they've got a clear plan. As you said, they're going to try and hit the Aussies hard with pace, but you've still got to be able to bowl with good quality as well. It's no good coming in and just bowling 150 k's an hour and spraying them all over the place, because guys like Travis Head, Steve Smith, Usman Khawaja they're gonna snack on that all day, and they'll score very quickly. So, the likes of Archer and Wood and Atkinson, they've still got to hit good areas, and they've still got to do it in Australian conditions for long periods of time. The pitches are different over here; they're harder. You got to work hard. It's hotter over here. You're going to have to charge in and come back second spell, third spell, fourth spell. I mean, it's going to be a challenge for those guys. A lot of their batters, they haven't played Test match cricket in Australia before. Okay, yeah, some of them have experience in Australian conditions, but Test match cricket's different, especially against a high quality attack. How will they handle the extra pace and bounce? They are going to be aggressive, so they're going to create chances for our bowlers. They're going to, there's going to be lots of opportunities for wickets as well. So, there's still a lot of question marks over this England team and whether they can perform in Australia. But what they will have, they'll come with belief and they'll come with confidence because of the way Stokes and McCullum will lead them. They'll instill that belief in them. But you still got to go and execute it for over 5 days. In 5 Test matches, it's not going to be easy.
Mike Hussey, so special for us to have you on the show. Thanks so much for coming on and for your time. We haven't had the chance to talk about Maurice Hussey, but perhaps we'll do that in another forum if you read between the lines there. So, Mike Hussey, thanks so much for coming on.
No worries, boys. Enjoyed it. And, keep up the good work.
Thanks very much to Mike Hussey for joining us. We're about to speak to Ben Horne. You can go to codesports.com.au/grade and enter the redemption code GRADE. That's GRADE, grade. You'll get access to a special discounted subscription, $1 for your first 3 months. That's $1 for the entire cricket season. That's basically 1 cent a day. $1 for your first 3 months at codesports.com.au/grade, redemption code GRADE. There's a link in the show notes again. Link in the show notes. Hit it. Get it. Here's Ben Horne.
Ben Horne is the chief cricket writer for News Corp and Code Sports. He's among the best cricket journalists on the planet, if not the. Now, Code Sports is providing the most comprehensive and prolific print cricket coverage in Australia this summer. You got Horne, Cherney, Craddock, McCurdy, Mitchell, Paul Amy. And unfortunately, it's quite expensive. It's $1 for 3 months to get that. So I'm sorry if that's unachievable. But it's $1 for 3 months. Get out of here. Mm-hmm. Betty, not your first rodeo on TGC. Welcome back. Welcome to TGC Towers.
It's great to be here in the studio for the first time. Thanks for having me.
All right, Pat Watch. Now, they initially said he'd need to be bowling 6 weeks out from a return to play. That date passed. He wasn't bowling. So they changed that to 4 weeks. The Ashes starts in 4 weeks. Will he bowl this week? Ben Horne, how is Pat Cummins' Fleetwood Mac?
Yeah. Look, I wasn't good at maths at school, but that's, I've been trying to do the sums on this the whole way through, and I don't think he's going to bowl at full tilt this week. I mean, hopefully there's a little bit of
Will balls be released from his hand in the net?
It's possible. But, yeah, look, I've sort of written off the first test. I think a good scenario would be midway through the series. I think third test would be a good result. But, not bowling this close to the Ashes doesn't seem ideal.
What about Cameron Green's side? How serious should we be taking this?
Well, they're saying that it shouldn't make any difference at all in terms of his plan to bowl and all that sort of thing. Any sort of setback for a guy who hasn't bowled for a year would appear to be a problem.
Unless you're Mark Wood, who's actually become a better bowler by not bowling.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So maybe it'll help Cameron. But, look, I think, it can't be good. I mean, it has to increase Bo Webster's chances of surviving for the first test, I would have thought. I mean, if you've got no Pat Cummins and you've got Cameron Green, who's had a minor side problem, I'd be picking Bo Webster.
Buck says Fergus Oneil has to be in the mix, quote unquote. This is in your report. 5 for 26 from 16 overs versus New South Wales first innings in a win. Code Sports seems to be running a whole lot of, like metrics and games and things for particular people.
Wordle.
Wordle.
Rankings, I think it is, yeah.
Rankings, pardon me. Is Fergus in the mix? Do you think he would pass the eye test for speed? He definitely passed the eye test for vibe.
Yeah.
But like for speed, for the like mile wide, inch deep fandom of Australian cricket.
This is airspeed you're talking about?
So and there's a difference between speed and airspeed. You've got to remember that.
Yeah.
Right? It's like foot speed and speed. So what about Fergus Oneil's airspeed?
I don't think he is passing the airspeed test in a lot of people's minds, but it's hard to argue with the vibe, as you say, and his record. I mean, he just keeps taking wickets. I like the idea of Fergus Oneil coming into the mix, to be honest. I mean, the list of options, they're quite experienced guys. I'd love to see him blood a new guy, and Fergus just seems to have the personality for it.
You mentioned slug, because I want to ask you who's a lock and who isn't a lock. Slug has done the exact thing that an Australian all-rounder has been asked for, basically since Flintoff, I suppose. It's only 7 tests, so it's a small sample size, but it's 34 with the bat, 23 with the ball. I think he's only taken 8 wickets or something, so it is a small sample size, but 23 with the ball. Worth noting as well the significance of those contributions with the bat. It's 4 50s in 7 test matches, only a high score of 72, but he's been playing on shit tips, including the West Indies, of course. Now, George Bailey has said that he's a lock for the first test squad, but it feels like he's not a lock for the game, like to actually play in the side. Do you think he's a lock for the game?
Well, until Cameron Green's injury setback, no, I don't think he was at all. Now, maybe it's getting towards being a lock. I mean, I think Cameron Green's injury may just about sew up the Test 11, Marnus opening, Bo Webster keeping his spot at 6. But, yeah, I mean, I was really surprised at the start of the summer when there was that chat about doubt over Bo Webster's spot. I think he's had a very good year. As you say, with an all-rounder, it doesn't always translate to amazing numbers, but I think his contribution to matches was pretty significant. So, yeah, I felt like he was being a little underappreciated. But I think since Bo Webster made his debut, there has been this undertone in the background from, ex-players and commentators, just that is Webster really that good? Is he just a very good Shield player? Does he belong at Test level? So, yeah, that's been an interesting part of his career so far. But it'd be very stiff to miss out.
Because I think this time of year, and there's been a big bat-off conversation that we've been facilitating as well. But we're all trying to play fantasy cricket. What's the best team we can put on the park? And then it's Marnus goes 100, 100, 100, and it's he'll just play. So it seems like the team is pretty much the team, of course, without Cummins. But
yeah, look, I think the selectors, my read on it would be that their absolute preferred situation would be Marnus at 3 and play Green down the order.
Right.
I think they're worried about Green at 3. Not sure exactly whether it's a technique thing or whether it's the workload of bowling and batting that high. But I think in their ideal world, they'd be having Cameron Green at 6. Mm-hmm. The problem, of course, is aside from Marnus, no other top order batsmen's really fully put their hand up. So, with that taken into account and Green's injury, I think they will be forced into Marnus opening, but I don't think it's their preferred option.
I mean, Cam Green has sent everybody's brains crazy, out of control. He's like Shohei Ohtani. It's just poor old Slug, who's probably the first number 6 to come in at Australia and literally do the thing that number 6s do. Yeah. He still cannot get a foot in the door in perception because you got this fucking monster there who's well, hang on, this guy can go 2-way, he can go 3-way. You know what I mean? He can average 50, he can take fifers, he can take snares he can snare the unsnareable snare in the gully, and everybody looks ordinary by comparison. Problem is he hasn't bowled for a year, then he has a go at it, gets a side strain, and he's meant to be holding up the end and bowling the overs to salvage and to help guys who their average age is 35, and now Cummins can't play. I mean, Green is not a guy that you can trust to hold up and end bowling, right? No. With the way his body is, and you got a guy there in Bo Webster who's literally doing this thing, and people are still Rodens thinker over the chin, going but Slug, is it the right look? Is he going to be Flintoff?
Yeah,
you know
that's
what
right.
I mean?
No, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think the Slug has that knack of, I don't know how you describe it, but he's the old pro. He just knows how to get the job done. Even if it doesn't look pretty, or he's not that. Yeah. He doesn't look like that generational talent that they're hoping Cameron Green is. I think it's a good thing for a team to have a guy that just knows how to get out there and do his job.
That's the theme of this entire summer, right? Like, I mean, we're carrying a team who must be the oldest that's ever played, and the whole nation is like, all right, well, let's just the team is the team for this series, and then we can break it up or whatever. And in Slug, you've just got like, I'll tell you, like, I'll give you performances. I'll give you what is, not what it could be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a bit confused by the rush to move Green, because in the West Indies we were being told that he's a long-term number 3. Like they were floating him as a long-term number 3. So, and I don't think 3 is the perfect spot for him. I think 4 is probably his best spot when Steve Smith's gone. I'm sure Cameron Green's moving straight into that spot, but I'm not sure that number 6 is too low for Green anyway. And I just think the stability of trying to at least give the impression that things are under control is probably pretty important. Just stick with Green where he is, and just get on that way. But certainly Webster is, whether I think he probably will play the first test, but he's under pressure because I don't know how long the arrangement will stay with Green and Webster in the same 11.
Now, saying that, a headline that caught my eye: too tall to bat number 3. Test greats fears for Green Ash's role. Now, Greg Chappell believes that Cameron Green is a future Australian Test captain, but has warned a role change he is not suited to could bring his promising career to a shuddering halt. Is Cameron Green too tall now?
And what is the correct height for runs at number 3?
This is a subject area that I'm not qualified to speak in at all, being particularly short individual, but it seems like a good problem to have as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. I mean, he is massive.
Breaking news.
I can't.
Sports.
Can one's dick be too big?
Yes.
That's the big question.
I can't comprehend the sort of the height that Cameron Green's got, but
Chappell quotes him at 200 centimetres, and it's 198. Like, according to Green himself, horse's mouth stuff.
Yeah. Like, I mean, look, you guys will be more qualified than me, but I don't know how big a factor height is in not being able to, I don't know, shape up as a number 3 batsman.
This is why I pick up on my colleagues' comments here, because Chappell was the original kingmaker and Ponting comparer of Cam Green, but now he's saying if you put him at number 3, his height is too big. It's not the correct height to score runs in that position.
So too much armpit.
Yeah,
the armpit's too big.
and he backs it up, Chappell. I mean, he does probably know what he's talking about when it comes to batting at Test cricket compared to us. Probably,
I'll concede that maybe.
I'm happy to defer to Greg.
Yeah, I mean he's just walking out to bat against bowlers. Why is it different than the 30th over? You know what I mean? Because of his height.
Yeah. Should he just not play at all? Like, maybe there's another sport out there for
basketball.
Yeah,
slug. Do you think Weatherald has a Bancroft-esque issue in that he wouldn't be the leading run scorer this year, but after 2 games, but he was a leading run scorer last year in the exact position that they're looking for. But it doesn't quite seem right. There's something like he's 30, it's prime batting years, opening batter. There's a spot there, runs there, hundreds for, representatives for the A team, for his state side, etc. But it's like,
was it 9-10s enough?
It was.
Were there enough whispers early on? I mean, I think they were. Weren't there? Some whispers,
probably. Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's a Bancroft-esque issue.
It is. Yeah, it's hard, I suppose, when you've had this 19-year-old kid that you think's the next big thing, and then all of a sudden maybe we're going to pause that for a while. And then come back to, as you said, the 30-year-old who's been around for a while. I mean, I think the big difference, I guess, between Bancroft and Weatherald, and I hope this works in Weatherald's favour, is that he hasn't played Test cricket before. I mean, Bancroft, yes, his numbers in Shield cricket have been good, but I think people forget that he's actually had a fairly decent crack at Test cricket and didn't necessarily set the world on fire. So I think they've seen what Bancroft can do at the top level, and I think that's part of the hesitancy to pick him. Whereas Weatherald, I suppose, it's a clean slate. He hasn't had that chance before. So, yeah, like I said, before Green's little setback here, I think Weatherald was big chance, just because of what I said, that I think they'd prefer not to play Green at 3. Don't know whether it's the height thing or whatever it is, but so I think Weatherald is in a good position to play during the series. So I really do.
Sorry, Pez. Do you think it's like the Australian cricket team seems to be picked on ceiling, and I wonder if that's the thing about Slug. Like, it's what he's doing at the moment is perfect. It's the perfect, but it's like, can there be anything more than that? Whereas Green probably he does have a high ceiling, right? And I wonder, like with Weatherall,
there's never been a higher ceiling.
Never been a higher ceiling.
His ceiling's never been higher.
Someone say it's too high a ceiling.
It's cathedral-esque, you know.
And like with Weatherall, for instance, because he hasn't played, so the ceiling at the moment is very high. Whereas Bancroft and Harris, we've seen them play lower ceiling.
Yeah,
but is it like we also don't like a car that has a little ding on it. You know what I mean? Like Jack Weatherall hasn't represented his nation to this point, so is that a ding on the car? It's not a shiny new thing.
Yeah. Well, I would be. Yeah.
It's not easy, is it?
No, it's not. 1,000-run season, like left-handed, you want an opener. There's a ding on there. I see it. You walked around the car and gone, what's this? You know?
Yeah, maybe we're just looking for too much. Yeah. Things need to be too perfect.
Yeah.
Now, we're not asking you any journalistic questions. So I will. Mitch Marsh, the Bison in the bat-off list. Now, he made 30 red opening the batting last night in a rain-affected ODI. And he likes fishing and he's good for a beer and he's good around the group. Are we adding him in?
Well, last summer, I remember writing something, tossing him up as a potential opener and got laughed at like it was never going to happen. But I think this time maybe he is on some sort of short list to open the batting this summer.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I don't think for the first test, but you look at kind of how all over the shop Australia seems to be at the moment with all these moving parts. I wouldn't be writing the Bison off. I think it would be conceding some ground to England. I think because to pick Mitch Marsh, you'd be almost going we're going Bazball, dare I say, with the selection, but. I think he is a chance, and it's an incredible story actually because he, after last summer getting dropped before the Sydney Test, he took a break from the game. Robert Craddock had this story a week or so ago, and he almost quit. He almost hung up the boots from international cricket altogether. So whether or not he makes it back to Test cricket or not, he's it's been a comeback that people probably didn't even know was a comeback, but he almost gave it away.
Mm.
Now, we're sticking with the batting. Marnus being called up to the ODI team, almost a signal that he's a lock for the tests. He mentioned last night during the rain delay that he's, quote, happy to bat anywhere, but also said, I've batted my whole career for Australia at number 3, so yeah, there's nothing more to be said.
Yeah, except for that last game he played where he was opening. But, yeah, I mean, look, I don't know, it's good to have Marnus back. I actually think this is the best case scenario out of the bat-off that we've all been building up, primarily you guys.
We haven't done shit.
Is like Marnus has, 11, 12 Test hundreds to his name?
Let's do the numbers.
So, out of anyone in the domestic scene that you want to be making runs, it's Marnus because, he's a proven, certified Test player. So, if he has got back into that rare form that we saw him carry for a few years, that's good news for Australia. It does just, I think having him, whether it's opening or number 3, it really gives a stronger look to the batting lineup.
Konstas then, Code reports Konstas has blown a golden opportunity. That said, is Sam Konstas not a Silverwater jail ton away from being back in the Goldfish conversation?
Yeah.
Well, that's right. There's still one more big game to go, isn't there, until this team's chosen. Yeah, I mean, look, I would still have, if they're not going with Marnus as an opener, I would still have Konstas at the top of my list of the next guys because I think they've had that plan all year. He's not done nothing. He has made 100 in an Australia A game. He's made 50 in the last Shield game. So it's not like his form's shocking. I get it that he's not the finished product yet. There's probably a bit of a gap between his best and his worst, but I would still be having Sam Konstas in the frame, and it's probably looking less likely that'll be first couple of tests. But it was no one expected him to turn up at Boxing Day last year, and depending on the twists and turns that happen in this series, there's every chance they'll be looking for a new opener by that time again. So, yeah, I think Sam Konstas is still in the frame, even though it looks like he's fading. And yeah, so he should be. I mean, I thought that they made a mistake by not picking him in Sri Lanka earlier in the year. Maybe we'd be still in the same position now if he had played those matches. But I just think after what he'd done in Melbourne and Sydney, he could have benefited from and deserved that continuity to keep going.
He sits at both ends of the extreme of like the way he went about it runs, because he gets dismissed in highly frustrating ways, in ways that reflect a highly inexperienced player, with low maybe game awareness, or a technique that is too high percentage in tough situations, or low percentage, in tough situations. And yet, you look at the second innings of New South Wales Victoria at the Junction, a game they lose, right? A perfect encapsulation of Konstas, because the 50 he scores there against Boland, Fergus Oneil, Mitch Perry, Will Sutherland, he dominated those guys with a level of class that few others can exude. He gets New South Wales back into a game they were on the way to losing before getting out in a manner that would be equally as infuriating to what had just come before. So we've seen that double-edged sword in his Test career, where he essentially gets Australia back on track in the hardest of conditions against the best bowler.
Yep.
And yet he can let you down equally. And when you step back and you go, well, 20-year-olds will do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so do you chop and change with him? Do you do what Hussey suggests? And we're talking to Huss today. And give him 2 years in the Shield to polish that side of things up? Or do you, which is kind of the current trend, invest in him, in international cricket and build him through that that arena?
Well, that's where I think they did stuff up earlier in the year, in the sense that, like, they had 2 tests in Sri Lanka, they had a Test Championship final, and 3 in the West Indies, where you could have just given him a run, and depending on how things looked after that, then you reassess for the Ashes. And I guess 3 tests in the West Indies is not nothing. That's 3 tests out of the 6, but they proved to be pretty tricky conditions over there.
Pretty tricky. It was the worst I've seen.
They were outrageous.
Yeah.
So, look, it's a tough one. Yeah, I mean, I think, the issue is, I think the extremes, as you said, are too wide possibly at the moment. It's like, you got to admire his confidence, though, because just the fact that despite everything that's happened this year, he's still willing to play those shots, because I don't think the selectors want to see those shots. Like, if I was him, I'd be just putting him away, but that's just not how he goes about it, I guess. So whether or not that's just, I guess, the foolishness of being 20 years old, or whether that's just who he is. He's just, he just backs himself that much. But it's definitely not the last we've seen of him. But I think they do need to be clear on how they're going to manage him from here on out, because I think it has chopped and changed a bit during the year.
I think that's why the Marnus runs are so crucial, because the team is ancient, obviously, and they've had a world-class batter in the mix, and then just fell off a cliff for 2 years or 18 months or whatever. He actually did very well to not play those West Indies tests, because he would nobody wanted to play in those. So then Konstas gets affected by that. I wonder with Konstas if it's a trust issue as much as anything, right? Because I saw Greg Shippard say that he doesn't know how he wants to bat yet. Which sounds.
I'd love to play for Australia without knowing how. Bat.
I don't know how I want to do this yet. So, and if I'm Marnus or if I'm Smith, I'd be like, I just want a bit more security. But I don't know.
I think. I mean, I think the wisdom would be perhaps he does need a couple of years in Shield cricket just to really learn his game. I mean, I think that the issue was when you do what he did on Boxing Day.
Yeah.
And you basically just capture the imagination of the entire country.
Talk about ceiling.
It's hard to not think from that point, this is the right way to do it. Like, the feedback he was getting for that was well, this is amazing. We'll never see anything like this again. And then when he goes out and tries the same thing in a Shield game and gets out second over, then he has the opposite reaction, which is, what are you doing? You know? So
I said be aggressive, but not get out.
That's right. Yeah. So look, I mean, it will help him in the long run. I think my colleague again, Crash, made the observation that openers are usually pretty tough characters. They've had to come through a lot, either personally or with their difficulties in their career to get to that point where they're opening the batting in Test cricket. And so maybe that's part of Sam's journey, what he's going through now. But, everyone involved just has to be careful, I suppose, that he's ready when the next chance comes because, you just don't want this to affect him negatively for the rest of his career.
Many think that that chance may come during the series, given that Usman Khawaja's 39 and facing at least two blokes who bowl 150s. Yeah. He's made a couple of 50s in the Shield. Is that cue in the rack for Uzi? Is he showing he's still got it, doesn't have to play the next game kind of thing, and just freshen up before Perth?
Yeah, I think he's probably due at least one of these Shield matches off. But it's been comforting that he's found some runs in the Shield because there was a bit of a concern after Test Championship and the West Indies about how he was going. I mean, it's hard to get a read really on Usman because I think people are quick to forget the job he has done the last few years as an opener just because the last 12 months hasn't been as flash. But I think against most opponents, with the exception of Bumrah and then the sort of crazy conditions we were just talking about in the West Indies, I think Usman has really been the most consistent Australian batsman since the last Ashes series in Australia. So, I think it's the right thing to show faith in him. But there is obviously the chance after two tests we could be having a different conversation. But, I think right call to back him. And who knows? We just don't know what's going to happen with England's attack. I mean, if Mark Wood and Jofra Archer are, walking out there in Perth, it's going to be a pretty big assignment, but they may not be.
Let's pick some more holes in this terrible Australian side, the worst ever. Obviously, with Pat probably, potentially, definitely missing the first Test match, whatever adjective it is. Just a bit more pressure on the rest of the bowlers, particularly Hazlewood, I suspect, who hasn't played more than two tests in the last sort of few years. How are they managing him? Because apparently he's a chance to be released for the fourth Shield game, I understand.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think the plan is for him and I think Mitchell Starc as well to possibly play that fourth Shield game. It's an interesting one with Hazlewood because he's the one over the last couple of summers who has broken down and often in the first test. So I actually spoke to him about this a while ago and I think in his mind that the first test is the big one. Like if he can get through the first test unscathed, I think history's shown he's quite durable and his body can just get through.
Okay.
But just that, I guess that spike in workload and intensity for a first test has been a bit of an undoing for him last couple of years. So the preparation he has for that first test, I would say, is very important. I'd say the way they're managing him has probably been informed by maybe some of the mistakes of the last few years. He's often come off white ball World Cups or white ball series straight into a first test, and that hasn't gone well. So, look, the form guide is if Hazlewood can get through the first test, maybe he can play five. But, that's the hurdle.
Right.
Definitely leading you here with this question. Like you've covered several Ashes series home and abroad. In your dealings with the Aussie team and the setup more broadly, like do you detect a particular effort to evade comment about England?
I do, definitely. Yeah, it's been quite noticeable. Like if you compare to that year when Nathan Lyon came out of his shell and started baiting England, it's completely different. I actually think Australia's been going out of their way to compliment England. That's been my impression. I've heard players sort of rapping Joe Root, rapping Harry Brook. So I have found that quite unusual and quite noticeable actually.
And it provides an interesting contrast to England's approach, like and to put it as fairly as possible, it's an all thing like positive vibes only kind of approach where they talk each other up, and that's like I'm sure there's merit to that. They seem to avoid commentary about the opposition, like positive comment about the opposition as well. And I wonder if it might leave the public with a disproportionate impression that because in Australia we're quite pragmatic about our players and no one's ever enough, so we'll always pick holes in our own team. That combined with the Aussies talking the English players up and then the English kind of setup also poking holes in Australia and talking themselves up. It leaves one with the impression that Australia's under the pump. And then England are coming over with this phalanx of 90-mile-an-hour quicks and an unbelievable batting lineup. Now, results from both teams would suggest something markedly different over the last 4 years. But do you think the perception matches the reality?
Yeah, I mean, I do think Australia is under the pump. Just there's so many moving parts for them. They don't really know their best team. Their best bowler is not going to play the first test, and we don't know beyond that. So yeah, look, I think that is sort of the reality. But I think Australia's very comfortable. I think in almost trying to set England up for a bit of a trap there. To perhaps indulge a little bit too much in their favouritism. I don't know. Australia's not very familiar with siege mentality, are they? But and they probably haven't quite lent into that. But I think they are very happy flying under the radar at the moment and letting everyone pump up England's tyres.
If England do win the Ashes, I mean, how do you envisage that happening? What will the story of the summer be if England manage to do it?
I think they've got to go 1 or 2 up at the start. Mm-hmm. I think, the first test is always massive, but I think in this case, it's huge because if England win the first test, I can see Australia immediately panicking and making changes.
Mm-hmm.
It almost happened last summer when Australia lost the first test to India. Marnus was under the pump hugely, held on. But that'll be a big test for selectors and everything else. Is if England win the first test, that temptation to change everything straight away. So I think England really need to just kitchen sink the first test. Don't worry about trying to manage Wood and Archer through differing test matches. Play them both if they're fit, and just try and throw everything at winning first and second test. I think Archer and Wood are pretty much the keys to England because with them in the attack, they look really scary. Without them there, I'm just not sure that the bowling is good enough. So, I would have those two, their ability to play 2 or 3 tests being the key.
Yep.
Ravi Shastri says India are gettable over there in 2027 to you because they lack fast bowling. Famously important in India. And that if Smith holds off retirement, Australia's a chance.
Yeah. Jumping ahead a little bit here, aren't I? But
yeah. Ravi's over here and he's giving a perspective, but it does feel weird to go are we a chance in India in 2027 with a 37-year-old Steve Smith?
The reason I was interested in what he said,
bowling?
the reason I was interested in what he said was purely just the Steve Smith side of it, because I guess honestly, a month or so ago, I was thinking this could be it for Steve this summer. I just had that feeling that maybe this Ashes series would be the end. Still might be, but I think the feeling has switched a little bit recently. Maybe there is a bit of hope that Smith could play on. I mean, it is only 14 months away to get to that Indian series.
Everything's only 6 months away. You know what I mean?
Usman will be 53 years old.
Yeah. So I don't know. Steve Smith's future has intrigued me now for a few years because he has been toying with it. You can tell in the way that he answers questions about his future that he's just not quite sure where he's going from one series to the next. And I just think that it will be just a huge, huge loss for Australia, obviously, when
massively.
Smith goes. You look at it now. I mean, he's now suddenly captain for this series. I think he did at one point toss up the idea of retiring earlier this year after the Test Championship final. So
these rumours are so weird. It's he's never said anything, but
I'm kind of loving how enigmatic he is because he was ski slaloming into balls about 12 months ago, and now he's savant again.
Yeah.
He's savant captain, and he's I don't know what I'm going to do, and I'm just enjoying it because you look at that entire side, and he's still such a fulcrum of that side. The safety is still underrated.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, at the moment you can tell they're nervous about, even though he lines up as a more obvious number 3 than the tall man. They're nervous about moving.
Because of his height.
They're moving about. They don't want to move Smith because he is that safety, safety net. And I agree with that.
And I think it's safe for him too. Yeah. I feel like in his head.
Yeah.
And he lives in America now.
Yeah.
Well, he's back. But is he going to have to play Shield or is he's excused?
He's got 2 games. Yeah,
Okay,
he's back.
sweet,
He's
sweet,
back. He's back now. He's been training for a few days,
Yeah.
but yeah, like there's something that just intrigues me about that. Like I would love Steve Smith to chase after and break Ricky Ponting's record for most hundreds for Australia, and it's possible. If he plays this next bit, but he also wants to go to the Olympics, so it's a bit of a balancing act between.
There's a home game, the Olympics.
How do you get him enough T20 cricket with all the Test cricket that's coming up? But whether Smith could make it to the next Ashes, I think is a different question to the Tour of India because his record in the subcontinent is just so good.
Yeah. It's so weird with Smith. It's like
a guy.
like so many like it's more like the old guard are like always. They seem quick to say like I'm not sure how long he's going to be around for. Like they've heard something, and then if to watch Steve Smith play cricket, you're like, this guy's never going to give this game up forever. You know what I mean?
What's he going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
If I was him, I'd be going till you can't do it anymore. That would be my approach. But far out, he's been going for a long time, and he's been through a lot of stuff. I mean that. Sandpaper thing, I don't think. Yeah, do you remember that?
What was that?
I think that's took a lot out of him, and I think that people probably gloss over that because he's come back and still been making so many runs. But I would love him to just keep going, and to see him come as I don't know, whatever he'd be, 38-year-old in India next year would be great. And without him, I don't know how Australia does win in India. Because to get back to Ravi's point, because it's just a huge hole.
What's par for Smith this series? I mean, I'm 700 runs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, without that, England's going to be looking pretty good, I think. Yeah.
Good news is when he retires, then Green can go number 4, his preferred position. Then we can.
Yeah, I know. It's like you just got to choose which you want most, I suppose.
They kind of have their plays, Australia, don't they? They just don't know the configuration of it. There might be a spot for one new person, but they kind of have the players. They're injured and they're old, but they have them.
Yeah, that's right. It's just the musical chairs of how you make them all fit.
And Pat's Union Jack. Okay. Ben Horne, Code Sports, $1 for 3 months. Get out of here. Sorry. Best news hound in the business. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch up at a separate date to discuss the North Sydney Bears for 90 minutes.
Yeah. Maybe during the first session of the first test.
Yes, that's usually what we're doing. G'day, mate. All right, what are you hearing? Yeah. Thanks for joining us, mate. Much appreciated.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much to Benny for stopping in. Women's World Cup, Pezza. Australia, South Africa, England, they're all in the semis. You will have seen that India lost to England overnight by 3 runs. 5 sides now competing for 4th spot. That includes India, who are currently 4th. So India have a record of, I think they've 2 wins from 3 games, 3 wins from 2 games, and they're in the mix. 3 wins from 5 games. Good for me. And Australia play England on Wednesday and South Africa on Saturday. I think
India's lost 3 games.
They lost 3 games.
They need to go undefeated now.
They lost to Australia, lost to South Africa, lost to England. Yeah, okay. Yep, that's right. So they've only won 2 games and they're in the mix still. So there you go. Now, Midge went back-to-back. Another 100, this time against Bangladesh, as the girls chased down 200 without loss, with 151 balls to spare. I jumped on, because obviously this is happening overnight, Australia time more or less, and I jumped online the following morning. Open
the
up.
only way.
And Mr. Healy, that being Kratz, Instagram story, just rolling through there. I think, this is going to be a touching tribute to his wife. It was a photo of his lawnmowers. So he's getting behind the team.
Yeah.
4 of the 5 games that have been in Colombo, of course, this World Cup is in India and Sri Lanka, for obvious reasons. 4 of the 5 games in Colombo have been washed out, which is leaving a lot of people pretty fucking flat, as it might be, given it's the monsoon season in Sri Lanka. Not ideal, I would say. I think one of the only games that wasn't washed out was... No, Australia's game against Sri Lanka was washed out, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it was. So
yep, it's a washout.
It's a washout. So that's what's happening in the World Cup. So Australia playing the other 2, the top sides, South Africa and England this week. But they're already locked into the semis. Now, of course, if they lose a game, we'll start investigating what's happening in the ins and outs. But Elisa Healy, no hundreds for like 3 years in the ODI setup for Australia. Back-to-back. So I think we're all good to go.
Hates a World Cup 100. He's a World Cup specialist. Not the worst reputation to have, particularly during a World Cup.
Yeah.
But... it's pressure on Harmanpreet Kaur.
Yeah,
that it's a watch on Harmanpreet at the moment. India captain. They need to be perfect to win. Now, in India's favour, I'd say that like they have run Australia and England very close,
right?
And as we know in the patterns of World Cups, like is that good? You know, is that a worry for Australia?
Mm-hmm.
Have India got their losses?
I see.
You know, have they got their losses out of the way?
Yeah. So India play against New Zealand on Thursday, and they play against Bangladesh on Sunday night, Australia time. That is. So they'll have to win both of those games. New Zealand Pakistan had a tough washout against England. They had them 9 for 100 or something like that.
No, they were chasing 130 or something, and they were done for 30.
That's
right.
right.
And then rain washed it out.
Yeah.
So,
They must have been real close to a result as well, because they played 6 overs in the second innings, I think. So tough for Pakistan there. Anyway, so India need to play. They play against New Zealand Thursday, Bangladesh on Sunday. They've got to win those games to make the semi-finals, and you're most likely going to be playing Australia. So Australia want to play India in a World Cup semi-final at home?
I mean, I'd say different rules apply to this team who just win, but you know, in the old noodle there, I'm like, we've beaten them in the close one, you know, like breaking records. Does that steal India? You know, does India go we want to go one better or
So it is good when there's like in World Cups when there's jeopardy, right? Because like Australia beat them in a white ball series before this World Cup. They've obviously beaten them in the World Cup, so they've beaten them the last 4 times. They've beaten them 3 times, but they could be knocked out, and then, you know, what does that mean?
I mean, we just simply have to win this tournament.
I mean, they could also play against New Zealand. They've beaten 16 times in a row and lose that game. I mean, they won't because they don't lose.
Yeah,
but
we could talk ourselves into the fetal position.
The fetus position.
Into becoming fetuses. We could talk ourselves into the fetal position, going where we're basically saying like we might lose a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are ways where Australia can lose.
Yeah, it's professional sport. They might lose one game.
It's hard when we just have to enjoy how good winning is with the team.
But isn't this like, I've got the same thing with the Ashes.
Look at the team.
Look at this. We've got a great summer. Men's and women's cricket all summer long. It's going to be awesome. Big games that mean something to us emotionally. And the whole thing that is running my enjoyment of it is fear. So I can't actually enjoy this thing until it's over. And then I'll look back and be like, wasn't that good? And at the time, I'm like, not really. I'm not going to enjoy the Ashes. What if the team loses? That won't be fun. Losing sucks.
Yeah, man.
What if they don't win the World Cup? What do I just fucking bury my head in the sand? Yes.
When we say sporting events where your team lost or they didn't prevail is good, we at least for me, I'm saying it from the rational part of my brain. I'm saying I know it was good.
Yeah.
I can understand that it looked good.
Yeah.
But I don't experience it that way. Yeah. And perhaps that's part of what makes it good for the others. You have your good days, you have your shit days, etc. But I feel the same as you. I mean, I just I need results.
you know,
and it's you can be snobby about it, about that, right? You'd be to operate on a higher plane would be to say, I don't mind anymore. I just want good cricket.
Yeah.
I suppose best of luck to those who have formed that relationship with the game.
Sure.
You know, it's a proclivities question.
Mm-hmm. So I think the only way you can enjoy it if you lose is if your team is a huge underdog, and it's a real electric, basketball style, end to end, frantic, anything that can happen, lack of control team that's going to give you these amazing. This is actually exactly what England do. They give you these amazing highs, and then they give you these lows that are you can sort of get away with it being well, look how bad we used to be. We're not expecting anything here. And so, if you come away with and you lose a series or a World Cup or whatever, and then it's well, you know what? That was a great journey that team took me on. I had a great time. It was fun. But when you're the favourite and you're at home, that's not fun. That's just pressure. Because then the only relief you get is the only joy you get is relief. It's just I can breathe again.
Oh, yeah.
It's been 3 months.
Yeah. So you understand gold medalists when they say, I'm not euphoric, I'm just relieved.
Kathy Freeman, 400 metres, Sydney. Was she happy?
Yeah. Same with us at the Ashes as fans. I don't think Australia can win this series on that basis.
It can't win.
Because if it gets turned into a relativity question of like which direction a team's going, well, Australia's won like 5-0, 4-0, 4-0.
Yeah.
Like England winning a session is a problem in Australia, right? Except that we know that they are better than what they were because what they used to be was they won 1 from 17 and now they finished 4th in the World Test Championship and it's like, oh, well, this is, and it's exciting.
Yep.
So that's an improvement. So like how does...
It is, yeah.
Is the only way Australia can match the expectations of its public is to win 5-0?
Yeah.
You know, as aging and injured team?
Well, I see the same problem with the World Cup. Actually, any time the women's team play.
Yeah. How do you improve on perfect? How do you improve on perfect? Absolute disgrace if they don't.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, that's what's going on in the Women's World Cup. Well, England Wednesday. Watch out for that one. Pezza, AskTGC. That's sponsored by Smith Optics Australia.
Of course it is.
Now, people know about the Verts and the Wildcats of Smith Optics Australia. You can use the code FAST at smithopticsaustralia.com.au.
And you have been able to use that code inside and outside the terms of our sponsorship, which is more... No, it's just more value. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's further apologies to the punter for value.
People know about the depth and breadth of support that Smith Optics has provided the Australian cricket family, you know? And now eagle-eyed viewers will have seen that Mitch Starc was in the Defiers with Chroma Pop.
Oh, so now Starkey's on board.
Now Starkey's on board.
So the pennies dropped for Stark.
Okay, now, the sliders, that's right, the Smith Optics Australia sliders have launched today, straight from the late 90s.
Oh, no.
The original interchangeable dual lens sunglasses are back, recharged with modern Chroma Pot, Tim. Lens tech. And same
4 times tickets.
Fashionable retro style of the original. Includes 3 lens options. Think Travis Head in his post-World Cup winning glory.
Oh, my God.
Now, late 90s. Thinking Backstreet Boys, Beanie Babies, Y2K, Planes Falling Out of the Sky, Wrong Dates, the Nintendo 64, Spice Girls, Unironic Polaroids, Scrunchies, Tamagotchis, Pogs, Furbies, The Matrix. Late 90s. Glasses, shades, Chroma Pop.
This is, I mean, I'm looking at pictures of these. This is like, there's, I mean, I'm seeing this for the first time. The energy behind these designs have to be seen to be believed.
Yeah.
There's a lot happening.
Yeah.
In like, I mean, head World Cup is all we have to say. Really.
If you didn't know, if you didn't get to experience the 90s, well, you never will, but you can wear these, you know? And you might be devoid of a personality, but you can make yourself feel like you live in the 90s. You can chuck these on, the sliders. Smith Optics Australia. And, good news, 25% off your order using the code FAST. smithopticsaustralia.com.au. We've got to get these. We've got to get these in here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, where are they?
We've got to get them in here.
Look, these pictures are doing things to me.
Mm-hmm. Fashion is cyclical, and the 90s are back.
Really? Oh, tell me about fashion.
Well, I just did.
So what happens with it? There's a cycle.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. What do you think when you think late 90s? I kind of do think Nintendo 64.
My family. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. No. Like Millennium. Yeah.
I think of like New Year's Eve and like Eternity on the Harbour Bridge from that graffiti artist in the 20s.
I think about drinking West Coast coolers in a park in, in the St George area, in Cogra, and thinking, oh, alcohol actually tastes like it's really easy to drink this.
Yep.
And it was just sugary stuff.
Well, if you want a day drink, Smith Optics Australia.
the sorts of shades you'd be wearing. No, I mean, these shades, like blokes on the train, to Hurstville in 1998
playing music
are wearing the
phone.
Shit out of these.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, this is Heady, Stark.
Yeah, these are professional athletes.
TGC.
Leather jackets.
I mean, fuck, all we've ever asked is to cosplay the 90s and to bring it back.
Yep. Where
a couple of young guys would be listening to this going like, oh, these fucking idiots, all they do is talk about how good the 90s were. Well, here we are.
Here we are. So
cosplay with us. Cosplay with us.
Get a leather trench coat. Slip these on. Get yourself into a park via a train. Play an MP3 from your phone.
Yep.
If it's the Crazy Frog, so be it.
Yep. Nothing underneath that leather coat.
Nothing underneath.
I don't know why.
And you can do that in the Defies.
Oh, and with 25% off.
Yeah, sorry.
With apologies.
Sorry. Fuck me.
Too many ads.
AskTGC. You can send in your questions for the main pod to hello@gradecricketer.com. That's an email address. Look it up. Wombat wrote in. Says, "G'day, peasant," he goes. "Long-time listener, first-time emailer here, and I need some urgent spiritual guidance from the Church of TGC. I'm a humble guy, a fat plotter in the threes. Brackets, a couple of twos games in my resume. Close brackets. A few years on the committee, upgraded to treasurer this season. May play odd game, but only to fill in if I'm a yes in the circle. Brackets, I got an official girlfriend in the off-season, so there's optimism in life."
Some concerning language already in this.
I got an official girlfriend. She finally arrived in the mail. "Most of the time in club life has been spent in the shadows of the larger personalities in the playing group. Bit of a unique situation, where I'd like to revisit my social status in the club using the following capital to enhance my rep. You see, recently Snoop Dogg, yes, that Snoop Dogg, the D-O-G-G, personally signed a random yet treasured item during an innocuous private meet and greet that I was invited to the day before the AFL Grand Final. With nothing on my desk to sign, I nervously passed him my club cricket hat and even worked up the courage to ask, quote, 'Can you make it out to Wombat?' Now, I'm trying to figure out the correct way to alpha my way, I presume, to the top of the entire club about it. Kind of like how Tom tried in Succession." Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say exactly the same, Wombat.
It's kind of like that, yeah.
"I just don't know what or how to do it. Blokes are aware via my Insta post, which was a low-key flex. Importantly, I don't want to overplay my hand and end up looking like I've lost touch with the group. But equally, this could be my only shot at immortal status at the club after we fucking choked in the granny last year. Brackets, winning via long drawn-out washout in the semi against a rival. Sweet, though. Should I, one, in my new role as a club treasurer, start rolling my pimp-esque cane to walk around the club? Two, wear the hat and casually drop it everywhere and any chance like it's hot? Three, organise a hip-hop themed club function and just clog the playlist with some of the Snoopy classics. Four, print out and frame the photo of the cap of me meeting him, and hang it in the rooms right next to the bar that I man or lean against each Saturday. Five, start smoking marijuana and just have it as my new cologne that lends itself to the story that I, quote, I shared a doobie with the doggy. Appreciate any direction on how to navigate this delicate power play move. Yours in middling the odd one, Wombat." He's posted a couple of photos in there with the email.
That's nice.
Looked like a good experience. Snoop in all his glory, signing his club cricket cap. I get out to Wombat.
Look, thanks, Wombat, and we're grateful. I'm grateful for people who write in and
Always.
sort of go like the Church of TGC. So it's really, really nice. And his contribution to a club matters as
yes.
You know, as on the committee and upgraded to treasurer, and there's no doubt that the volunteering time and like energy and expertise and contribution he's made to the club is far more meritorious and virtuous than anything that like most of us do. You know,
no question.
And that is what matters most. However, look, to make a calculation that like have as an adult to ask another adult celebrity to sign their signature to like offer a signature on a playing cap, and then to go, how can I use this as a power play? This is my ticket. This is my ticket to respect. Is very like it raises lots of questions.
Yeah.
So I want to just remind this thing that I started with about Wombat and what he offers the club, and I bet he's beloved at the club for what he's given and helps keep it alive, and the minor miracle of cricket can continue.
His nickname's
you know?
Wombat. He's loved within
Exactly. He can't be called Wombat and not be beloved, you know?
No.
But, like, mate, what fucking adult is... No, like, you know...
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like...
But I like it how he has this moment. He's like, now, I'll tell you, it was a good TV show, Succession.
Like, what about I'm gonna make this out to Wombat. Low key flex here. Fucking wait till the boys see this.
She's got
Now,
a
what
girlfriend.
Yeah.
All related, no doubt.
I'm gonna smoke marijuana and see. And they'll think, oh, he had a doobie with the doggy, mate. I only play cricket when I'm in the circle because I have an official girlfriend. You know, again, I go back to the first thing, and there's an initial real life
Clubs
respect.
couldn't exist without guys like Wombat.
Exactly, right? But his judgment about what creates political and social capital at a club is it's catastrophic. It's colossally bad. Who's turning up to a club with a signed hat from Snoop Dogg going like, fucking get around me, boys.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
What's that smell? Oh, funny story, actually.
I smoked marijuana with a doggy. Nah, he's a good guy. I'm sure. I mean, what? You back me up here. I mean, fuck. Is this real? Like, what are we meant to say? Like, what are you meant to say? Like, oh, here's what you do.
Mate, why'd you get a
mate,
girlfriend? You're about to be fucking covered in puss. Oh, you're cashing the chips too early, Wombat.
Mate,
chuck on the wellies, mate.
Flick the squeeze. You fucking... You're about to be covered in puss. My Ticket to Puss by Wombat.
Thanks to Wombat.
Thanks, Wombat.
Getting your questions at hello@greatcricketer.com. Thank you very much to Mike Hussey. Thank you very much to Ben Horne. Thank you very much to you for getting around TGC. As ever, and we'll see you guys again next week right here on this here show. Goodbye.